sorry I can't hold it level. We're just giving it up. I just can't do it. But you're doing great. Look how cute you are. Do you have opinions, ma'am? I think she's mad her box isn't open.
Somewhere in what you're getting has got to be the thumbnail, and the caption is just, does he die?
And I keep thinking, you know, this was all a really good idea to have me be the videographer, you know, because I was here. That was really the only qualification you needed, was just that somebody be here. But I feel like after you watch this footage, you're gonna be like, would have been better on a tripod. Poor chickens feel like he's been attacking them all morning, moving brush past them.
Good morning, guys. If you look closely, you can see that the tree fort has made a few changes since what I showed you last, which was cleaning up the brush. The reason I didn't take you along for this was a couple of things. I had to do all that by myself. That's a 2 by 10 by 12 foot going that way and that way, and that was really, really difficult to do by myself while trying to film. And I thought, let's just go for safety. Let's go for convenience for me, because come on, you can see it, it's up there. What I did was lift it up with the tractor bucket and push it kind of into position, and then I stood on the ladder and held one end up while I screwed the other end into a branch. And then got a level out and leveled them. And I got the first one put in, and then I went across the other set of branches. This is hard to do. There we go. Other set of branches, and got that one screwed into. So I'm sorry you didn't get to see it happen live. It was really thrilling for me, and from the ground, you wouldn't have seen anything. So a camera on a tripod wasn't gonna do it. But let's go up there and see where we're gonna pick up from now. So you can see we're narrow on this end, something like 4 foot, and then as we go out that way it gets wider to just over 8 foot. So this is going to have a bit of an angle to it, but we'll make it work. It's going to be really cool by the time it's done. I've got the 2 floor joists in so far, and I started by measuring 16 inches from the end, and then if we look close and we get some focus, I made a mark inside and outside where I wanted the first board to go. And then I proceeded to mark all of the locations all the way across these boards so that they would line up, and there would be 16-inch on-center spaces between these floor joists. 16-inch may be overkill, but I have plenty of wood. Why not make it strong? Why not make it safe? So then I made the same marks inside and outside all the way down on both of these boards, so that it's really easy to line up from one side, because that's what I'm having to do, is come over here, take my measurement. I'm getting long side measurement on this angle, cutting it down at the tractor, screwing one side in from here, running around to the other side and screwing it in from the other side. So having it marked up on both boards makes it a lot easier to get it done that way. So anyway, that's the morning. We're gonna go cut that pile of lumber up and add it to the floor up here, and then we're going to be a lot stronger. The other thing to note, you probably could see this. That doesn't look great, right? It doesn't exactly look safe. That is how the big 2 by 10 by 12 is stuck to the tree. That is just temporary. That's strong enough to get this thing built. And once I have the whole frame really locked together and strong, Then I'll come back with some lag bolts and really drive those in and get it really, really strong and connected to the tree. And then I'm going to take on the outside corners and actually drop posts into the ground. So it's not just touching ground at the trunk, it's going to touch ground at 3 different points, effectively creating a weird tripod. And this thing will be very, very rock solid by the time we do that. All right, so once again, I did a few steps without you, mostly because there's really no good way to put a tripod up here and actually get what I was trying to accomplish. So let me just bring you in and show you. I'm using this joist as, and I don't know terms, I'm calling it a joist. Just leave comments if you want to be mad about it. I'm using this as where I'm going to start lining up the floor planks. You can actually see these are gaps. This is plank, gaps, plank. I started from the edge, I worked my way over, and that's why I put this joist right here. The hole I'm standing in is where the ladder is going to come up to the second floor. So now off of this line, I drew lines all the way down, used a straight line to get all the way to the end, and now I have a reference point to line up the first plank. So I can screw that down, and then I can use spacers. These are going to be my spacers to space each plank out along the width of this, and then we'll end up trimming off the edges when we get to that point. Camera. How many cameras do I need? Spaniel. Mr. Flint. Hey, what are you doing down there? Oh, your tail's going. We got that tail going. Yeah, you're good. All right, so interesting little bit of an update here. This branch, I've left this long thinking I was gonna use it to tie the railing into. And at this point, I don't want to anymore. I have a different idea. So I had blocked all the way around it so that I could have boards come up against this and not get pushed down on either side of it. And it would be nice and strong, but now it's just in the way. So I'm gonna cut this off flush with those boards, get it out of here, and then just run the board over the deck plank over the top of it. And yeah, that's the point of a tree fort, right? Making it up as you go along. Now I'll be very honest, I don't know if you can even see me, that was a really dangerous way to go about cutting with a chainsaw. Never, ever, ever cut towards yourself, unless in a situation like this you absolutely have to. That's why I use the electric one, because as soon as I let go of the trigger, we're done. There is no winding down, there is no idling motor to still come in and take my knee out and destroy me. So now we're good. Time to put the plank on top. Alright guys, here I go being a bad host again. It's been getting hot and humid and terrible, and I didn't feel like going up and down the ladder for the camera a bunch of times. I was already going up and down a whole bunch of times for materials and screwing things in from the outsides and whatever. So you're gonna have to forgive me. I didn't show you as I was doing it. Here is what I've been up to. We've got railings. These are 42 inches high, so they're really tall, and I'm going to come through and fill in the rest of them. These are just in here to make them a little more solid and to keep the sag from happening. So I'll run out to the barn and cut up a bunch of leftover, this rough sawn poplar stuff. I'll cut them all to the height that I need these for, and I'll finish walling this thing in. Spaces in between them, it'll look nice, you'll be able to see a lot, but it'll make it a lot stronger and a lot safer. And then as you can see, we've got our hatch with the ladder coming out, and the ladder ends up being screwed right into this too. So even though the ladder is straight up and down, it is rock solid. One thing I'll point out, I left the corner posts. This is a 2x4 and a 2x6. I left those really tall, thinking that I might put some kind of a roof on this, at least some kind of a shade, maybe even tarp. But this side is 7 foot tall. This side is 6 foot tall, so it will have a slope to it. The sun is always out of the south, so it should help shade a little bit more if I have a slanted roof on this side. Now the reason I say I don't know if I'm actually going to follow through with that or not is it's kind of a darned if you do, darned if you don't situation, because all of the wind comes out of the northwest from here, meaning if I have the high side pointed that direction, it's going to try to catch all the wind and either rip the roof off or tip the thing over or act like a giant sail every time we have wind, which is all of the time. So I don't know if I'll have any kind of roof, but it's there in case I decide to. Anyway, the next stage is going to be, like I said, filling in the railing and then cannibalizing the existing swing set that's across the yard and putting some of those parts into this. And that's going to be fun to do too. So thanks guys. Here comes the next bit of jabbering. Man, I don't talk to a camera so well. Okay, bye. So is all this work going to be worth it?
Yes.
Are you tired?
Yeah.
Are you tired?
Oh, yes.
So this is the old swing set that we are going to be taking parts off of and adding to the tree fort. The first platform of the tree fort is exactly the same height as this, so the slide will still work. That was one of the main things the boys wanted, was to take the slide over there. All of it kind of started because I just wanted this eyesore out of the yard so I didn't have to keep mowing around so much of it. And it's kind of gotten away from me, and maybe that's not going to be successful. It's just going to be relocated. But anyway, we're going to keep the slide. We're probably going to keep at least one side of this sort of ladder. And we're going to keep the swing set arm, but I think we'll cut a little bit out of it and end up with only 2 swings. I don't know if that'll be off of the inside or cut the outside edge off. We'll see when we get that far, but for now I'm going to start taking some of these parts apart so that I can haul it over to the tree fort. Well, everything you just saw happened about a year ago. It's just taken me this long to get the video published. I actually started working on editing it about November of last year and realized winter time is probably not the best time to put out a video about a tree fort. Here she is. It's been standing here about a year. Looks pretty good. Let's take a quick look at what we've got. Swing set, great. That's the main platform from the old swing set over there. With one of the sets of ladders going up to it. We've got a climbing rope or a sliding down rope, depending on what you want. The slides over there. We even have the steering wheel off of the old one, which I think it was meant to be kind of like a pirate ship, because pirate ships have steering wheels, right? This tree was kind of cool. It grew like an upturned palm with fingers coming out of it. So you can climb in here up the wrist and get into the first platform. We've got the slide. The boys have been adding a few things. They put this gate on here. I don't really know why they needed a gate, but it's really fun when the wind really blows because it slams against that real loud and you can hear it from a long ways away. Real quick, the main beams up top are treated. The 4x4s are treated, but the rest of this is untreated. It's actually rough sawn poplar from a dead log that grew on the other side of the property. And I'm not painting it, I'm not treating it, I'm not finishing it. It's good the way it is. My thinking is the tree is now dead. The boards are untreated. It is a tree fort. It's got to last them until they're sick of using it when they're 15, 16 years old. So if I was trying to make it last forever, I'd do it a little bit differently. But I just need them to have fun with it while they're young enough to have fun with it. Then I'll cut the whole thing down and light it on fire someday. So it doesn't have to last forever. It just has to last for a little while. So anyway, let's climb up to the top quick. I think this is some sort of computer. Submit murder. Wow, there's some interesting stuff going on here. We'll have to talk about that later. Figure out who's grounded. This is actually a panel from a dog kennel. It worked out being perfect for a gate so that we could see up here, see what's going on from the house. This side is hinged with a padlock, so this side will actually open when I want it to. And that was so that I could do some high downhill angle archery shots. We can put 3D targets out here and work on angled shooting and not have to try to shoot over a railing, which is not very good for a bow. This ended up really nice up here. It's just big enough for my smallest tent to sit up here, and the boys have spent a couple of nights up in the top of the tree fort looking at the stars and, well, the cormorants flying by. So anyway, It's worked out really well. I think we're gonna add a few more things to it before we're done. Those are apple trees over there, and they drop a lot of extra apples. So I'm gonna make a pulley system so they can load up buckets, pull apples up here, and then I'm gonna get a water balloon launcher and make a catapult up here so they can just launch apples as far as they can, and maybe we'll put some targets out there for them to try to hit. That'll be coming up later once the apples start hitting the ground. Anyway, that is a look at the tree fort. Thank you guys very much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe and do all of that stuff. It helps out. I really don't like saying it, but it does help out, so I'm trying to make myself say it on camera so you have to listen. And that's all I've got, guys. Thank you. We'll talk to you next time.